Before you've registered the furniture, before your eyes have adjusted to the light, certain rooms announce themselves through smell. The good ones do this on purpose. I've walked into entrance halls that stopped me before I'd taken 3 steps. Not because of anything I could point to. The ceiling was right, the proportions were right, the console table was exactly the right weight for the wall behind it. But something else was working, something underneath all of it, operating before the conscious mind had caught up. A faint green sharpness from a gardenia on the hall table, the particular dryness of old wood and beeswax, the cool mineral note of stone flooring that hasn't been covered in carpet since the house was built. The room was speaking before it was showing me anything. That's what scent does. It lands before vision has a chance to process what it's looking at. Most people designing a room never think about this once. They choose paint, they choose fabric, they agonize over whether the sofa should face the fireplace or angle toward the window. They spend weeks on the rug and an afternoon on the lighting plan, and then they fill the room with artificial fragrance from a diffuser plugged into the wall, the same synthetic cedar note you'd find in a hotel corridor or a real estate open house, and wonder why the room feels like a stage set rather than a place someone actually lives. The room looks right. It photographs well. But standing inside it, something is off. There's a flatness to it, a sense that the room is performing rather than existing. Scent is almost always part of that problem. And the difference between a room that smells designed and a room that smells managed is the difference between a room that feels inhabited and one that feels maintained. Managed scent is defensive. It covers. It apologizes for the room's actual materials, the synthetic carpet, the new-build plasterboard, the flat-pack timber that off-gasses something close to nothing. Designed scent reveals. It tells you something true about what the room is made of, how old those materials are, how carefully they've been kept. A room that smells of linseed oil and seasoned timber is telling you something real. A room that smells of a reed diffuser, called coastal driftwood, is telling you something too. Just not anything the room has earned. Gardenias deserve their own paragraph. A single bloom in a low white ceramic bowl on a dark surface, a slab of Nero Marquina, a walnut console, a piece of aged limestone, does more atmospheric work per square inch than almost any other object in a room. The scent is heavy and sweet, but not cloying when the bloom is fresh. There's a green, almost waxy note underneath the sweetness that keeps it honest. In a room with proper ceiling height and good air movement, that scent doesn't fill the space evenly the way a candle does. It drifts. It arrives in waves depending on where you're standing, what the air is doing, whether a window has been open for an hour. That unpredictability is precisely what makes it feel alive rather than applied. The room has its own weather. It shifts through the day. Herbs belong in more rooms than they currently appear in. Not as kitchen objects dragged into places they don't belong, but as specific, considered architectural choices. A pot of rosemary clipped to a tight, dense globe and placed on a stone windowsill in afternoon sun releases a dry, medicinal sharpness when the warmth catches it. It smells like something that has been somewhere. The south of France, an old kitchen garden, a hillside in late summer baking under heat. That association doesn't happen at the level of conscious thought. The nose picks it up, and the mind reaches back for something it can't quite name. And the room gains a layer of resonance and history it didn't earn through age alone. A pot of clipped rosemary on a windowsill costs almost nothing. What it contributes to a room is not nothing. The materials a room is built from have their own scent language, and most modern renovations erase it entirely. Old oak flooring sealed with beeswax rather than polyurethane carries a smell. Faint, dry, slightly sweet, something between honey and timber. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself, but it's always there, working quietly, telling anyone who enters that this floor has been looked after for decades rather than installed last spring. Limewash walls breathe differently than emulsion-painted plasterboard. There's a mineral quality to a room finished in Venetian plaster, something between chalk and cool stone, that you register without knowing you're registering it. These aren't dramatic effects. They're the scent equivalent of shadow, always present, rarely named, deeply missed when they're gone. Strip a room of its natural surfaces and replace them with sealed. Borrow synthetic alternatives and you don't just lose texture. You lose an entire register of sensory information the room was previously communicating. Leather is worth paying close attention to in this context. A club chair in genuine full-grain leather, Tobacco, cognac, something that has darkened over time with use, has a smell that is among the most psychologically powerful of any material in a room. It reads as substance, as permanence, as a decision that was made once and hasn't needed revisiting. A room with a single, well-aged leather chair smells different than a room without one, in ways that extend well beyond the nose. The brain interprets that scent as evidence of something lasting. New leather has a similar effect, though less layered. In bonded leather or faux leather have neither. And in rooms with otherwise high-quality materials, their absence of honest scent is detectable, even if no one can say why. Beeswax is one of the most underused tools in this conversation. Furniture polished with proper beeswax paste rather than synthetic spray carries a warmth that changes as the room heats up through the day. When afternoon sun catches a walnut chest or a mahogany side table polished with real wax, the surface doesn't just look warm, it smells warm. The two things arrive simultaneously, and the brain accepts the room as something cared for, something that has accumulated attention over time rather than been assembled from a delivery truck. That effect is not minor. A room that smells like it has been attended to registers as more valuable, more permanent, and more worth being inside than one that doesn't, regardless of what the room actually contains. Fireplaces do this work better than almost any other single element. A fire-burning seasoned applewood or cherry produces a scent that standard hardwood splits cannot match. The smoke is sweeter, drier, with a faint fruitiness that doesn't read as sweet so much as clean. It settles into fabric over an evening, into the fibers of a wool rug, into the weave of linen curtains, into the pages of books on nearby shelves. Walk into that room 2 hours after the fire has died down, and the scent is still there, quieter, embedded, the room holding onto the fire's memory the way good rooms hold the memory of everything that's happened inside them. Cedar kindling has a different note, sharper, almost medicinal, very clean. And oak burns with almost no scent at all but throws the most heat. These distinctions matter. The choice of what burns in a fireplace is a design decision with olfactory consequences that last through the evening and into the following morning. Cut flowers are handled badly in most rooms, and part of that mishandling is olfactory. Flowers chosen for appearance alone, oversized hydrangeas, geometric proteas, the kind of architectural stems that photograph well for a florist's Instagram, often have almost no scent at all. They look considered and smell of nothing. Flowers chosen with the nose in mind tell a different story. Garden roses, the open, loosely petaled variety, not the tight hybrid teas bred for longevity at the expense of everything else, have a scent that fills a room in a way that no diffuser has ever convincingly replicated. Sweet peas in a small glass vase on a writing desk have a fragrance so precise and so unmistakably alive that the room around them benefits simply from proximity. The choice between a statement arrangement and a modest vase of scented flowers is a choice between a room that looks designed and a room that feels lived in. Most of the time, the modest vase wins. Where most rooms fail with scent is in the same place they fail with everything else. The attempt to solve it with a single product rather than a collection of considered decisions made at the level of materials and living things. The plug-in diffuser, the scented candle from a brand with good packaging, the linen spray misted over the bed. None of these are wrong by themselves. A well-made candle in a room that already has honest bones adds something real. But it cannot substitute for the scent of the materials themselves. The leather of the armchair, the wool of the rug underfoot, the plaster of the walls, the wax on the timber floor. A room that smells only of its candle is a room with nothing else worth smelling, and the candle, however good, cannot cover that absence entirely. The rooms that handle scent best are almost never rooms where anyone has thought about scent directly. They're rooms where someone thought carefully about materials, about natural surfaces over synthetic ones, about aging rather than sealing, about fires in grates rather than radiators behind panels, about plants that live rather than objects that plug in. The scent of those rooms is a consequence of those decisions, not a decision in itself. It arrives without being planned for, and that is exactly why it works. You can smell the difference between a room that was designed to smell good and a room that simply does. The best-smelling rooms in the world don't smell designed. They smell true.